No, but I wanted to ask you a question about existence and consciousness and the separation of the two.
That's a very good question. So you know that, right? I cannot give you short answers. so,
Yeah, sure.
so bear with me. Because, I have to build this concept. These, even if I give you a direct answer, right? So then it kind of still, there'll be a lot of loose ends to answer here because it's a very big philosophical question. So when, in Indian, there's a huge statement, what you call Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means existence. Chit means consciousness. And Anandam means bliss. So it is existence, consciousness, bliss. When all of them put together, the condition we experience is considered as at least from an Indian scriptures perspective, is the highest condition. So what is this existence we are talking about? In Indian, especially in the scriptures, there are so many what is called the mimamsas, like the philosophical thoughts were expressed. Lot of them. So where even you would be surprised that all religious philosophies exist, including Buddhism, Jainism, Christianity. Saint Thomas in 3rd century traveled to India. We are talking about Chennai. It's a South Indian, one of the state's capital. We used to go to St. Thomas Mount every day. We call it St. Thomas Mount. It's kind of in a hilly area, huge, big church. I used to love that church. Just go there. I used to spend hours together over there. St. Thomas Mount, St. Thomas Church. He came to India in 3rd century. Can you believe that? To spread Christianity. So it welcomed all philosophies, all thought process, all cultures. Absolutely there is no, I should say very less prejudice against any religion, because the Indian system doesn't have the concept of a religion. The concept over there is the eternal existence. Or eternal,
that is in the old Rig Veda. It's different
correct.
Today. So
It's
so differently
eternal
practiced today.
Eternal principle. Even the word Hinduism is given by the Persians, the Muslims who invaded India. They call the people who live behind the Indus Valley are called Hindus, and then it become Hindus. Now it is treated as a religion, and people think it is a religion, but it was never a religion. In fact, one of my colleagues at office asked me, if I want to become a Hindu, how can I become a Hindu? I told him, anything which exists is already a Hindu. So for Hindu, it is not an ism. It's not a religion, because it believes in all existence. So that's why there is no conversion process, because it thinks if you are a Christian, even the Christian philosophy is a Hindu. Islamic philosophy is also a Hindu, Buddhist. Any religion you take, it recognizes it as the eternal principle, which is expressed in different forms and shapes by different prophets and teachers. So it never discriminated against any religion, because it itself is not a religion. It's an eternal, universal concept of existence of God. Now, this existence of God is the Sat, the existence you're talking about. So now the philosophy goes a little beyond that. When it says existence, that means it has to be subjected to time and space. right? But what if I say that existence which is beyond time and space? So in a very technical terms, you cannot even call it an existence. So one way, the manifested state of that is an existence, the highest essence you can call it, and beyond that is the non-existence, inanimated state. It's never manifested. So it's a between the two, if you want to call it the existence, the sat.
Wait, I don't get it.
Okay, suppose if for something to exist, it has to be subjected to time and space, correct?
Correct. I understand that.
Right. Now, so when you talk about existence, then you're talking that essence as a manifested state. So from which that manifested is the true essence. So here the God has two faces. One is the non-existential God from which everything manifested, and from there is an existential God that manifestation continued. So this existential God has it has also taken up the functionary of the nature. So it has assigned certain functionaries of the nature. So it kind of percolates down all the way into to the level of humans.
But when we say man's existence,
correct.
How is that different from Sat?
So man as an existence is not Sat. The essence of that man is the Sat.
Okay. But yet we are existing.
Correct.
We still apply the word existence in the English language. It's an existential
that's why you cannot apply the Sat to a existence which is confined by space and time. You cannot apply that Sat term, the existence term, to a something which is confined by space and time. Okay, the existence has to be eternal, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. That is referred as the existence.
Okay, so that's different from man's existence.
Correct. And that essence of that is there because it's all pervading. It is in us too.
So is the soul existence?
Soul is the Sat.
Yeah. So by inference, soul is Sat.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's why when something comes in contact with the soul, the nature of the soul is the bliss. Okay. So that's why, and that which is recognizing that Sat is the consciousness. That's why three have to be there. Without consciousness, there is no way for us to become aware of that existence. And without the consciousness, there is no way of become aware of the bliss also, the nature of that existence. So that's why they come together. This whole philosophy, this non-duality. Non-duality is only that existence is real. That's what the non-dual philosophy concept says, correct? That means there is no second for it. That is the essence. That is the Sat. Now, the later, the most philosophy is to define that existence. What they said is that existence is not the body, not the mind, not even the consciousness. So people somehow misunderstood this concept that if I don't think about my body, if I don't think about my mind, if I don't think about my consciousness, then I can understand the true nature of God, which in my mind is a very wrong concept. But somehow people subscribe to that philosophy. Okay. So, I'll give you an example. Suppose, so we recently went to this, the observatory at the New York, at the Orlando University. There, you could see into the space and, even the galaxies through the big satellites, correct? So when you are looking at the satellite, your view is kind of gone way beyond, and what you are seeing is something way beyond, which you cannot see with your naked eye. So you are kind of experiencing, feeling the vast universe. So when you are experiencing this vast universe, so I am not part of this earth. I am the part of the universe. See, your horizon is increasing. Your identity is kind of going beyond. You are saying you're part of the universe. You're not even saying the part of the earth. You're not even saying you're the part of the solar system. Okay. So you're kind of expanding beyond. Your thought of your identity, your existence is expanding beyond. So when I'm expanding beyond, if I say I am not the part of this earth is a wrong statement. In one perspective, in one another perspective, it's a true statement. When you are looking, I'm part of the universe. When I'm part of the larger picture, I'm not identifying with the smaller picture at that point.
But in this particular example, there's still time and space connected.
Correct. In this example,
I know you're giving it as an example.
Yeah, that's why examples fail to explain the whole concept. That's why I'm kind of going around and around to kind of come up with this whole concept. Correct? WHOLE. So anytime you talk about a concept, it is only explaining one perspective, one aspect of it, because these are infinite aspects. That's why we meditate for it to unfold within our state of consciousness. There is no explanation, only the feeling, the realization. And the moment you start putting it into words, it loses its meaning. Then you can only explain only one small aspect of it. Even if I say this whole universe, it is still a small aspect of it. Okay. So that's why when I talk from the state of Brahman, the highest essence, then I'm not the body. But it's a spectrum of consciousness. That's why we kind of think of the higher consciousness and lower consciousness. There is nothing called high and low. It is the same continuous consciousness, where it's kind of becoming single pointed, at the same time it is expanding. That's why the fundamental difference here, to explain the concept in the scriptures, we have chose two words. One word is the soul, means the Atman, which is moving and thinking. It's in a vibratory state. Even there it is a lower consciousness. Now, the same thing which kind of reflects into the Brahman, the Supreme Soul, lack of a better word, the Supreme Soul is ever expanding. So there is a contraction at the lower level, there is an expansion at the higher level. That's why when we say the consciousness is expanding, we should not be thinking like an expansion like a balloon or the space. That means it's a bigger picture. It's like you are looking through the telescope into the universe. So you're looking at a vast universe. That's the expansion. That means there is no new expansion created. It's already there. So, but your perception has gone beyond your room, beyond the skies you can see with the naked eyes. So that's where the consciousness, it can become one single pointed, become aware of mundane things. At the same time, it can become aware of the highest essence. So that's why when we meditate, we are allowing that mind and consciousness to expand, to feel that higher essence which is infinite, omniscient, omnipotent, all the big words. That's how we look at it, right? So is my identity, is there a problem with my identity? Absolutely not. Without this egoistic identity, the when I say ego is not the arrogance, ego means the identity of the self. So as an identity of the self, of myself, as a individual person, then I have all these identities, where are you from? Where are you born? What do you know? What is your profession? All these are identities. But they are also as much real as my identity of the Sat, the ultimate existence. Both are true at the same time. So I don't have to leave this identity to get that to that identity, or nor I have to leave that identity to get to this identity. So now the whole process of meditation is to integrate both. So somehow most renowned, gurus, scholars of the past thought I have to I have to lose the body consciousness to identify the higher essence. So they'll say, "Oh, I don't feel my body. I don't feel my thoughts. I don't have any thoughts." These are all false claims. How can you say I don't feel my body unless you have the idea of the body?
So when it comes to the individual person, Shrikant, you have a physical existence, a mental, emotional existence, and you have your divine existence, correct?
Yes, all of them are integrated in one.
All of them makes me or you.
That is one. So I am part of this universe. If the earth is not independent, separate of the universe, it's part of the universe. But you can also identify earth as an independent planet in the solar system. Both are true at the same time. So neither this is illusion nor that is illusion. So idea of the whole human existence is to truly recognize, become aware of this higher essence within. That's all this whole process of spirituality is about. Now if you ask me what is the benefit is now you have the larger spectrum of your consciousness available to you, which was not available before. That is the only difference. Okay. So like an ant, like a pig, like a dog, each one has its own limited consciousness. Even as a human, I have a limited consciousness. But when I expose myself to the spiritual sciences, practice, my consciousness has expanded. So what is the difference? Why do you call man as the most advanced species on the earth? Because of its consciousness. Now from here, when our consciousness goes beyond the Sat, the existence itself, the true existence, the true essence, then our perception of life, our way of appreciation of life changes completely. So then, do we still go through the problems of life? Yes. Do we still have to attend to the aspects of life? Yes. I still have to eat and defecate? Yes, right? So all these things are there. So that's why it's all integrated one. Even SatChitAnanda, the highest existence, consciousness, bliss, I would like to look at it as a one essence, one entity, which all beings, everything has access to. No one is devoid of it. Right? Everyone has access to it. It's just that we are not exercising that access. So some are bogged down in reading this literature, talking about it all the time, but have you experienced it? So then I conveniently say it cannot be experienced. So then they ask this question, if you are experiencing it, who is the experiencer? In fact, Somebody asked me last week. I was giving a session to one group, very enlightened, learned group. I was telling about meditation, and then I kind of told them the same thing. It unfolds and you are witnessing it. Then he asked me, who is witnessing it? I said, you tell me who is asking, then I'll tell you who is witnessing. And then he laughed and said that is a very good answer. So because he understood what I'm talking. So this is unnecessary, what should I say? We go into unnecessary degradation of such a pure thing. Just because it says you cannot experience it, yes, you cannot experience it with the available consciousness to you. It requires this expanded consciousness to experience it. So that's why the seers have said you cannot experience it. They're not saying you cannot experience it at all. They are saying with your available consciousness, you cannot experience it. So you have to look for this higher consciousness. Okay. So that's how it goes.
Right? I think I need this talk again.
I'm just doing an audio recording. I'll share it with you. All right, I'll stop here. If no questions, then we can get into meditation. And we have Naresh Bhai here, so I'll request him to conduct the satsang.